Hello everyone, I'm Mark Sain and welcome to Sain Investment Solutions. Please take a moment to pause this video and review the following disclaimer. Thank you for that. Welcome to week 41 of the Forex market review. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for the last 2 weeks not being able to put out a video. I've got a few things underway, looking at taking a new direction, and these videos may cease in the future, so just be prepared for that. However, the rules are very simple, and if you look at our videos, they repeat over and over and over again the clarity of what's needed, and because the rules are so simple, they're quick to learn and easy to follow. So, but however, there has been no trades that have occurred anyway, and we're going to jump to the charts and see what's setting up this week. So the first trade we're going to look at today is the pound CAD. So what we're going to do is this is the pound CAD. We can see it's pushed up, hit this daily DSR zone, so it found some resistance, and we're looking at for a pushback lower. It started to find a little bit support around this DSR zone, so we're just going to be cautious about that area. And so what we want to do is just drop in a line so we roughly know where it could possibly retest again, and some other areas where it may be able to come down to. We then drop down to the 4-hour chart to make sure we have divergence. So as part of our trading rules, the first thing we're doing is finding a resistance or support area, up resistance or support, then we look for divergence. If we have our divergence on the 4-hour chart, in this case in a resistance area, we need to see a higher high in price with the AO stepping down, and it needs to come back below the line to be clear divergence. That's our second, and our third is then we look for a wave 3. Now wave 3 has already occurred, so therefore once that occurs, we then look for a second opportunity based on a 4-hour pullback, and this will be on our entire move lower. So we use our Fibonacci retracement tool. We need to see it come back to a minimum 38.2% fib, and we like to see it test the 1-hour 200 EMA line. Not essential, but that's a good area where it may find some resistance and want to push back lower. So now that this has occurred, and to meet the 4-hour rules, the AO must come back to the 0 line on the 4-hour chart, we can look for our 1-hour entry. So if we can see a bit of a pushback lower, we'll look at taking a trade, having stop loss somewhere up here of around 100 to 120 pips. Look at definitely moving to break even before those lows, and then we want to be looking at getting out somewhere in this DSR zone that we highlighted, and that should give us our 1 for 2. Another trade that's setting up, this time it's come back, found support area. We then look for some resistance areas using the daily DSR zone. We drop those in, and then we look for our 4-hour to see our divergence. This time, because we found support and we want to go higher, we need to see the lower low in price this time and the higher AO. And we do have that, and it is clear. If I just zoom in a little bit, hover over this area here, we can see it's definitely 461 as the last digit, so it's a positive number. So that definitely came back to 0 line before forming the higher AO low. Drop down to the 1-hour chart. We want to see our wave 3, because I've already determined this is possible 3 back for 4. This could have been up here, a wave 3, 4, 5. So it's hard to determine for me. I want to play a bit more safer, and I want to use the entire move. Again, I'm already looking getting short on the pound against the Canadian, so being long against the euro and the pound is the same thing. Pound is still the weakest pair, so I want to see it pull back to the 38.2, and I would need to see this AO come back to 0 line before considering a move lower, then jumping down to the 1-hour chart. So hopefully we'll see a zigzag pattern, an A, B, and then follow straight down for a C, and then we'll be looking at an entry to go long there. We have a confirmation here on the Euro USD. We've seen it come down, find support here, and then we're starting to see it push back higher. Obviously, we then need to look at our DSR levels where we're going to find some resistance. We drop those in. So that's our first. Then second thing we look for is divergence. Again, lower low in price, higher AO. Has it come back to the zero line? It has. It's just come back above. If I can hover over it and get it, that's showing me the sticker. There it is. Positive 210 of the last digits. So it's definitely clear divergence. And our third step is look for wave 3. So we can assume this whole AO is likely wave 3. And if we were to zoom in, it's probably got 1, down for 2, up for 3. So we're looking for this move here of wave 3. Now, regardless if you take that move there or you decide to take this one because you can't quite see it, that's fine. Just look at that. We still want to see the minimum 38.2. Obviously, doing this longer run, you're going to have to wait for a bit more of a pullback, and that's generally a good thing. You don't have to worry about risking a stop loss as high as you would normally do. You should come back, test this 1 hour 200 EMA line. So if you can see it come back to these levels, we'd be looking at probably about a 50 pip stop loss and a 100 pip profit to get it back into this daily DSR zones that we highlighted as a possible resistance area if it was to continue higher. Other trades setting up but haven't confirmed yet is we've got the Aussie USD. It's come down, it's found some support, then pushed up a little bit and then pushed back through. So now we're finding some more support here. We need to see the divergence. We do how lower in price, higher AO, clear divergence back above the line. And so we're going to be looking for a large AO. So we haven't seen that yet. So I'm expecting maybe a bit of a pullback before a nice decent move. That's when I'll be looking at a trade, then wanting the pullback to get in. So at the moment, I still want to see it push a little bit higher before looking at an entry position. And we have the USD yen 4 hour chart. Excuse me. We do have divergence, higher in price as it steps up, and the AO stepping down. So it stepped down twice and it's been stepping up twice. So that's definitely clear. We're looking for a large AO. Here you could probably call this the large AO. To me, that pullback for wave 1 hasn't been enough. So I would believe this is an A, B, C. This is likely 1 pullback for 2. Then we're going to see a nice large AO to the downside. So just keep an eye on that for the USD yen. So thank you for that. That was week 41. Again, apologies for the last couple videos not coming through for the last 2 weeks. However, as you can see, I stepped through the scenarios very quickly, and we're just looking for the same common denominator every time. First, we want to see on a daily time frame support or resistance area being touched. Then we want to see some divergence occurring on the 4 hour chart. Once we see that divergence, indicating that that current trend is looking at ending, we then need to drop down to the 1 hour chart for our large AO. Identifying that and then waiting for the pullback and looking for the next move or the wave 5 move lower on the 1 hour chart. So we're really just looking at finding somewhere where it's going to stop and then looking at taking that first move on the lower time frame, and most of the time it's quite successful to trade and you definitely win more than you lose. And when your risk reward is double or trying to go for at least double what you're risking, then you don't have to worry about getting the trade 50% of the time right, because you're winning twice as much as when you do lose. So you're going to be making money even if you only get 40% of the trade right. So please go over the videos, look at the history, go to our YouTube channel. There's 2 years worth of videos there. You can go over and you can see that we're using the same rules all the time, and this is how we trade, and it's been very successful. Hopefully I can bring you some more videos. If they don't come through, it's just that I've got other things in the pipeline, and it's getting very busy, and I may have to cease this page. But hopefully I'll be able to keep the YouTube video site and the Twitter site going and feed some information through to you there. So please follow us on Twitter if you definitely want to try to keep up on date. However, at the moment, here at Sane Investment Solutions, we wish you all the best in your success. Take care. Bye-bye.